I'm going to be brutally honest with you. Making high ticket sales should be easy. And it does not matter what funnel you use, as long as your messaging is magnetic, meaning you attract the exact person you want and turn them into clients just by the words that you're saying. And if you have that in place, it doesn't matter what funnel you run. And look, I'm also here to not give you the same generic tactics of, oh, build more authority and give out value, build some more trust by giving things away for free. This is so generic and ultimately does not help you out because everybody is currently doing this. And when you're doing what everyone else is already doing, there's nothing magnetizing about that. There's nothing that causes you to stick out. So in today's video, I'm gonna be showing you how to create messaging that is so addictive, it has people begging to buy your program. Have you ever watched a video where it seems like somebody's saying the perfect words and it's causing this anxiety-like feeling in your stomach and wanting you to take action on the things that they're saying? This happens to me every so often where somebody crafts that perfect message where I'm like anxious and I must listen to the rest of the video and do or get what the person is telling me to get. That is what I'm ultimately uncovering today, how to create that feeling. And the problem is most people online today are completely fixated on these systems or funnels or appointment setting tactics, and they completely forget the real thing that causes individuals to convert. A funnel, lead gen systems, they're all like an airport. It ends up driving traffic to a particular destination, but it ends up never selling the vacation. And most gurus or experts online, all they tell you to do to sell a vacation is to build trust, talk about the benefits, be an authority. But nobody questions what any of this stuff really means. So many people are preaching this and they're saying we're in a trust recession and that you need to post more content, give away value, and that's gonna make you a trusted authority. It's not that your audience doesn't trust you or see you as an authority. I mean, you're a handsome fellow giving away a decent amount of knowledge. Who wouldn't trust you? The real reason though is that your audience does not believe in you. Trust just so happens to be the reciprocal of belief. I can create the exact same funnel as Hormozi, the one that he has used to sell over $80 million of his book. But the problem is if I do that or do any of these funnel hacking systems that people talk about on YouTube, if I end up doing that, nobody believes in me and they don't believe in my offer. I would argue that we're not in a trust recession. In fact, we are in a belief recession. Consumers no longer know who to believe into, who has the best product, who is being a actual authority or has authenticity. It's just not enough to provide value to your audience and get them to trust you or be an authority by showcasing your wins. You can be an authority and still be hated, just like a manager or boss. You can have all the trust in the world, but nobody pays you a dime. Just like how your mom probably trusts you more than any person else in the world, but if you asked her to give you $10,000, she's most likely not going to. But if you had belief, the story would be different. If your mom knew that for a fact, you were gonna turn that $10,000 into $100,000, she would give you every last dime in her bank account. So the core to addictive messaging and magnetically attracting people is building belief. Belief in us and belief in our offer. This type of messaging isn't by building trust, it's not by building authority, and it's not through a funnel. So how do we get our prospects to believe more in us and more in our offer? There's really 5 steps that I'm gonna be bringing you through here. And the last one here, I've spent over $20,000 learning myself from a mentor. This one might just be the best way to hypnotize your audience. And fair warning, these are tactics that are used to manipulate people. You have been warned here. Use this for good and bringing people true transformations. So the first one here is actually counterintuitive when it comes to creating magnetic messaging, and that's to repel people. Think about an actual magnet itself. Its power isn't that it just pulls metal forward. It actually pushes other magnets away if the polarity is opposite. You and your brand works the exact same way. If your brand tries to be neutral, it ends up losing its charge and becomes weak. When you stand for something, even if it is controversial, you create a clear north and south pole. The right people end up feeling pulled towards you, they align with your polarity, while the wrong ones are repelled, the opposite. They don't believe in the same things as you. Most people think that this is weakness or it's going to bring harm to them and their brand and their message. In reality, this ends up creating a stronger message. I mean, think back to politics. The more the one side repels the other by saying things, that means the more people feel included in the side that is taking shots towards the other. Belonging is just a social need. Russell Brunson explains this in his book, Expert Secrets, perfectly. He has this thing called the prolific index. In the middle of this index is the mainstream, and on the right of it is the crazy zone. For you, you want to be landing in the middle between mainstream and crazy. This is the prolific zone. Put it this way, if you were selling a fitness program to people and you were using your nutrition and exercises based off of the government things that they're telling you to do, like the nutrition pyramid or the nutrition plate, whatever it is now. If you're basing all of your messaging off of this, nobody is going to be attracted to it because they already know it and most likely don't agree with it because they've tried it before. In the book that Russell Brunson has, he explains that somebody in the health and wellness space has coined the idea of putting butter in your coffee. Right off the bat, this is immediately going to retract some people. They're going to be like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would I ever do that? And they're never going to agree with it. But it can also capture people's attention. Some people may gain interest in it and then look into the science of it and realize that this is actually a great idea and they're going to agree with it. And the person that is saying that putting fats, butters into your coffee is actually a healthy thing. So the first step is to actually start repelling rather than attracting. Prospects are going to begin to believe in you and your messaging when everything isn't so vanilla. Okay, so the second step into creating magnetic messaging is to use the exact lingo your prospects use to describe their pains, their frustrations, their fears, their dreams, their reality. Imagine that you are in a foreign country and you're trying to ask people for directions and they're all speaking a foreign language. Nobody is understanding what you're trying to say. But then there's this one person that you ask that speaks English. They respond to you in your exact same language. Suddenly you feel instant trust in this person and a relief that they can help you get to where you're going. This is exactly what happens when you use your own client's words. Instead of sounding like a stranger with generic advice, you're speaking their native language. And when you use their language, your prospects already believe that you have the solution. It's because you understand their pain so well, even to the point where they think these things, but they weren't able to even articulate it, that it just has to make sense that you know the solution to all of their problems. And to be honest with you, most info sellers and coaches are not going deep enough in the lingo needed in order to create this belief. We're often told this generic advice of just say the benefits or speak to their dreams or handle the objections that they tell you in your content. Or what I hate the most is when coaches tell you to handle the objections that they tell you on sales calls in the content that you create. This is so dumb because there's only really 3 objections that you're going to get, which is time, money, and fear. There's 2 things that you want to take from your sales calls instead. Number 1 is addressing the skepticism. What is making your prospect skeptical about joining? And where you get this is mainly from the questions they begin to ask you about the program and your service. It doesn't come from a money objection. Number 2 is to actually then look deeper in the objections that they're telling you. What are the common limiting beliefs that are holding the person back from moving forward? This is what you really want to make content on. And when you put these 2 elements together, along with using the exact language your prospects use to describe their pains and their dreams, their belief in you and in your solution becomes unshakable. Now, I also put together an AI bot that analyzes the limiting beliefs and the skepticism within your sales calls. So if you want that, that is in our free school community. Go ahead and join. There's already a ton of people in there. You'll get it absolutely for free. So check out the link in the description. Okay, so the third way to create addictive messaging is using the old way versus the new way. And this by far is one of the most used marketing tactics by the biggest online info sellers and coaches. This simply works by you pointing out the old way and why this old way of doing things doesn't work. Then you point out the new way and why the new way is much better. You're really doing 2 things once you do this. First, you're showing the prospect that you understand everything about their current situation and why they are stuck. This taps into what I was just talking about, the lingo side of things, where if you say all their frustrations and their current situation in the right language, they begin to believe that you have the solution. But the second thing is when you begin to present the new way, this is where a click and run response happens within humans. We are always wired to be looking for the newest and best thing that is going to save us the most amount of time and pain. The grass is greener on the other side type thing. If we look into a huge brand lately, which is Ozempic, their entire marketing is based off of this. The old way, which is diets and trying workout programs and never succeeding with that, is then contrasted with the new way of doing things, which is then taking Ozempic, a quick jab that is a lot easier, a lot more time saving, and will get you to your desired state of losing weight much faster. People were so quick to jump on this despite all of the negative effects that probably come with it. Use the old way versus the new way with caution. This can be very manipulative if you do it in the right way. And this also sets up the perfect ingredient for creating magnetic messaging with our next step, which is the fastest way to build belief is to shift an existing one. I compare belief shifting to the movie Interstellar. If you haven't seen it, it's where Leo's character in the movie creates these dream states all in order to implant ideas within people so that they end up taking action. In the movie, Leo was hired by a company to plant an idea into one of the character Fisher's mind on how he should dissolve his father's company in order to do his own thing. Otherwise, Fisher's company would have become a monopoly and taken out the company of the people who hired Leo. The point is, this is essentially what belief shifting is, where you're instilling these ideas into people in order to get them to take action. The great thing is you don't have to engineer dreams for people. It's not that complicated. But the thing is, beliefs are the root core of how somebody acts and feels about themselves. And if you can get somebody to believe into something, they end up aligning with that belief, aka taking that action. It's why transgender people end up getting surgery or hormone replacement therapy, because they truly believe that they're the opposite sex. They believe in something so much that they end up meeting that belief in reality by doing crazy things. The top guys in our space are extremely good at shifting beliefs onto why their thing is always the best thing. For example, most people think that Iman Ghazi, the thing that he's selling is SMMA. And yes, that is true, but it's not the first thing and the most important thing that he's selling. The first thing that he is selling is the belief in why SMMA is the vehicle that is going to get you to your mansion or the vacation in the Bahamas that you always want. Same thing with Alex Hormozi. He didn't end up selling his book by just saying, this is going to make you $100 million. He first built the case and shifted the audience's beliefs on why money models is something that they need to focus on. Without that in place, him just telling you to buy the book wasn't going to do anything. The reason why nobody's attracted to you and your offer is because you haven't shifted anybody's belief in you and your offer. Shifting beliefs is such a powerful weapon, and if you know how to do this properly, you can shift somebody's beliefs into why a rock is going to help them achieve the transformation that they always wanted. And if you don't believe me, then how do you explain the Crystal Girls? Okay, so the last one, and certainly not the least, I've spent over $20,000 learning this from a mentor of mine and changed how I go about marketing forever. This is truth marketing. And in my opinion, it's one of the most powerful concepts that gets people to buy into your program before they even show up to a call. But first, let me tell you a truth about our industry. Most coaches and info sellers rely too much on trust marketing to sell their program. And what trust marketing looks like is when you showcase a bunch of testimonials or sell people into your program based off the fact that you've made a ton of money, or even if you're a fitness coach and saying that you've lost the weight yourself. Another way is just by creating content long enough until somebody spends enough time with you in order to trust you and believe in you. We can name 1,000,001 people doing this and relying off of this to get buyers into their program. It's more of this like trust me bro type vibe that's happening. However, truth marketing is when you build your case like a lawyer. In order for a lawyer to sell the jury on why his or her client isn't guilty, they're not up there saying, oh, trust me, this guy's a good person and his friends say they're a good person, therefore he didn't kill the person that he's being convicted for, right? No, they're not doing that. They're basing their case on a bunch of facts and evidence that paint their client in the best picture. And the facts and evidence are all many truths that the jury has to agree with. Instead of saying, my client is a great guy, his friends think so, the lawyer provides a truth. My client was here on this security camera at McDonald's at 8:09 p.m. Therefore, he couldn't have been in this scene where the murder has taken place. Truth marketing is where you're ultimately playing this game where you're tapping into emotions by using logic. Implementing truths into your marketing where viewers have to agree with you makes it so much easier to build your case on why they should go with you. All right, so if you want more information on exactly how truth marketing, belief marketing, and all this other stuff works, I have a bunch of frameworks inside of my school community. There's a ton of people already in there and it's completely for free. So check out the link in the description in order to be let in the mini incubator that I have that's gonna make you so addictive and magnetic that people are going to beg for your program. With that, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.